Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Let's go. Every single time, my man, Dylan Landry, is always up first saying, what's happening? And go Tigers. And go Tigers. Mr. Sam Bacon, it's been a while. Where you been, sir? For everyone joining us, we greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor on Facebook Live, hit the like and hit the share and share into some groups. Also, if you're on Periscope, Twitter, we welcome you as well. Hit the like and retweet. And everyone joining us on YouTube, we appreciate it as well. And all of you, great. And I mean great. Guys, we got people listening to us on our podcast from Fort Worth to Atlanta to Shreveport. We're getting all over the place, y'all. And that's all because of our good partners at Believe. But, guys, we do have a great show in store for you tonight. The LSU quarterback race is heating up, y'all. It's heating up. I came out with a hot take yesterday saying that it's Max Johnson's job for the Tigers, and he would get the start. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Here comes TJ Finley. Ed Orgeron, excuse me, Ed Orgeron talked about it today. We're going to break that down and everything he had to say about the quarterback race at LSU. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central is going to be joining the show at 7:15. So in about 7 minutes, we'll be giving him a call live on the show. And I want to break down the Gamecocks. And see everything that they have going on and what he expects for LSU versus South Carolina this week. That's going to be fun. Hot take is coming, y'all. A hot take is coming. Yes. A hot take is coming. I think LSU's about to go on a streak. I think the LSU's about to put some wins together, and they're going to get this ball rolling. And we will, yes, as always, we take your calls. I got to change the number, y'all. We'll get that changed. That's not the right number. And we will go around the SEC as well. Stanley Polkey, let's go, he says. What's happening? Stephen Miller says, let's go. Kyle Marsh on Facebook Live says, what's up? Blake, my man, what's good, brother? Not too much. Stephen Miller says, Cedric Ross, strongly doubt it. What did he say? I didn't see. So Myles is not going to be ready. Yeah, not looking good. Myles Brennan's not looking good. But, guys, before we get started, as always, and we got some breaking news. My good friend, Mr. Caleb Carpenter, over at Robinson Brothers Ford. Guys, he is our new sponsor at AYS. Look at those plaques, y'all. Look at those plaques. I'm not joking when I say this. The number one Ford salesman in all of Louisiana. Uh-oh. There goes my camera. We'll try to get that back fixed. But there goes Mr. Caleb Clark, the number one car salesman in all of Louisiana. So tell him Blake Ruffino sent you, and we are so glad to have him on. And also our good friends over at GM Varnado & Sons. GM Varnado & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. Guys, you know them. I had 2 messages today saying that, Blake, I went over to GM, and they took care of all of my automotive needs. I definitely appreciate them being a sponsor of AYS. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes. We started a little bit late, and we're going to have Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central who's going to be coming on. Hot take, y'all. It's a hot take kind of day. A hot take kind of day, y'all. But the quarterback race for LSU is heating up. Ed Orgeron went on off the bench today and said one thing that I think I don't know how much has been talked about today from the other local media, but something that it needs to be talked about. TJ Finley, apparently per Ed Orgeron, in practice has the least amount of drop balls from wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs than any other quarterback at LSU right now. What that tells me is 2 things, because I've seen TJ Finley play a lot, y'all. and I mean a lot, being right here in Ponchatoula. Number one, it means that he's putting a lot of touch on the ball. Now, he's got a huge arm, an absolutely huge arm. There's no mistaking that. But that means to tell me that he's kind of developed a little bit since he's been at LSU. I know that I said yesterday that I thought that Max Johnson was going to get the start. But if you listen to Ed Orgeron and you listen to everything that he's saying, hot cakes, I love pancakes, says Brandy. But if you listen to Ed, it seems every time he talked about the quarterbacks today, he started off with number one, TJ Finley. Now, that's not to say that Max Johnson's not going to get the start and he's not capable of starting or, is not capable of doing really big things. And Ed talked about that today, saying that both of these quarterbacks are possibly going to be in the NFL and more than likely will be in the NFL. But as our good friend, Mr. Ross right here just says, Finley's got a cannon, and he does. But not only does he have a cannon, not only does he have an absolute cannon, he's starting to put touch on the ball. Alex says next man up, and which I agree with that wholeheartedly. Everyone on our podcast, you should know by now, but if you don't, we read the live comments off the air and show them on screen. But, look at him. Look at him, y'all. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Stephen Miller. Ed won't tell you anything, but in the same breath, he will tell you everything. Just have to pay attention and read between the lines. And that's what I'm saying. Every time Ed is asked a question, the first quarterback he talks about is TJ Finley, followed by Max. Now, I don't know if he's kind of like in his mind going down the depth chart saying TJ Finley and then Max. We don't know that and won't know that until right now. But everything that I'm hearing, and I mean absolutely everything that I'm hearing, is just that it's closer than anyone thought that it would be at this point. You have people telling me and telling the show that, hey, don't be surprised if TJ starts. I think it'd be very difficult for this offense to take a step back and go more into the running game because this coaching staff, not crap, but this coaching staff has shown you that they feel like that they don't have, that especially the offensive line, doesn't have the ability to run the football. You got John Emery not getting, maybe 8 touches last week on 10 targets in the passing game or 10 attempts. That should tell you something in the faith that this coaching staff has. So if they want to emulate, if they want to show exactly what they believe and how they think this game is going to go and what they want to do on offense, I would say TJ might be the better one. No better way to put it. It's the truth. I mean, I'm not a betting man, and I've tried to get this source, but it's very close to a vest right now. What we do know is that Ed believes that, he's telling you without telling you, but Myles Brennan's not playing. Unless he's like your boy Banks off of Mighty Ducks 2, where he comes back one day and his wrist's not broken. This isn't the movies, though. This isn't the Mighty Ducks. Gordon Bombay's not walking through that door. Anyway, Travis Shaw on Facebook Live says that was without Ed Ingram, too. And that's a good point. Ed Ingram talked today as well, saying that he was a little nicked up. He maybe could have gone last week and would have gone last week, but it's glad to have him back as well. Cedric says that Emery should be number one. I agree with that. Okay, we're going to get over to Mr. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Let's talk about the game coming up this week in Tiger Stadium against the South Carolina Gamecocks. I got a lot of questions I want to ask Wes and what he sees and look, I've told you this for 2 weeks. South Carolina is very scrappy. Can they come to Baton Rouge and get an upset? I don't believe so, but we're going to ask Wes right now. So let's go ahead and give him a call and then get to some of these comments. Let's see. Brandy says, if Bombay walks through that door, I'll fall out my chair. I would too. Believe me, I would too.
Hello?
Mr. Wes Mitchell.
Yep, that's me.
Hey, Wes, it's Blake Ruffino from RU Series Sports. How we doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain, man. We're just breaking down some LSU and South Carolina. And, My boy Lawton, who covers Clemson, I said, Lawton, who's the best guy that covers South Carolina? And he said, you got to give my good friend Wes Mitchell a call. So, Wes, I greatly appreciate you joining the show today with AYS and breaking this game down. Let's just start off here, my friend. South Carolina has played really great over the last couple of weeks, and they're a really scrappy team. A lot of questions went into in the beginning of the season with Will Muschamp about will the players rally around him. What's the vibe around South Carolina? It seems that these players are really playing hard for their head coach.
Yeah, man, I think really the last 2 weeks, these are wins that I think you start at the top from the coaching staff down to the players, and the extended fan base, man. That's 2 wins that I think everybody in Columbia really needed because, they started the year 0-2. If you go back to last year, finished the season 1-5. The only win was over Vanderbilt, which doesn't really get anybody excited around here. So this is a program that I think just needed something good to happen. Needed some positivity. The expectations this year were not extremely high, but they come in. They have 2, I would say, really competitive games against Tennessee and Florida, but dropped them both, and then went to Vanderbilt and just sort of steamrolled them. And I think they actually were able to build a little bit of momentum off of that game. Everybody got to play. They got all the backups in. It was sort of a good team morale building type win. And then, they play Auburn. They started out down 9-0. Then they were down 16-7. So just really had to sort of rally and battle through it and found a way to win at home here. And now they're 2-2. And I think they're just in a good place mentally, man. And that's probably not what you would have said a couple of weeks ago. And they're kind of like a blue collar team. They're not really that flashy. They're not really in a position to, make a bunch of, elite type plays. They sort of lack playmakers, I think, in some ways. But this team just sort of keeps battling and gets themselves in close games, and then they try to find a way to win them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it's really surprising just, Wes, how great this team is rallied around Will Muschamp, and something that I honestly didn't really expect, but I'm really glad to see. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central is our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at Wes Mitchell GC. Wes, one thing that I've seen with South Carolina over the last couple of weeks, and something that all these Louisianians are really paying attention to, is J.C. Horn, because his father used to play for the Saints. Last week, he really played well. What have you seen in his emergence and why he's really – I mean, teams are targeting him a little bit, but what have you seen that's made him so much better from seasons past?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, this is a kid that came to South Carolina and started, I would say, from about the second he stepped on campus, he became a starter. And I think it's been really fun to see JC start to get some of that national love, some conference-wide love, and sort of for doing the things I think those of us who watched him the last 2.5 years, we've all known that JC was a great player. Now, for whatever reason, teams haven't thrown at him, and the few times they have, he's had a couple of opportunities in the past to make those sort of game-changing, highlight reel interceptions, and just hasn't been able to haul them in. So it kind of became a thing around here, like when is J.C. Horn going to get his first career interception? And just, how the way sports work sometimes, man, it's crazy. He gets 2 of them after not having a single pick his entire first 2 years. He gets 2 in one game and actually calls the third. Carolina had 3 interceptions that game. J.C. Horn tipped the ball to one of his teammates on the other. And it was weird, man. Auburn was really just very stubborn. They kept trying to force the ball to Seth Williams. And South Carolina took an approach of they had J.C. basically shadow Seth Williams. Wherever he lined up, J.C. was across from him. They played a lot of man coverage. And this is really the first time in 2.5 years that I've seen a team actually say, we're going to go test number one. And this is the kid, I mean, y'all saw, obviously, Joe Horn through the years. I mean, JC has that professional NFL-type mindset as well. I think he took it personal that somebody was actually coming in and trying to test his side of the field because it never happens. And obviously, he
Right.
won that battle. And it's two NFL guys. I mean, Seth Williams is a really good player. He's going to be a high draft pick as well. But I think JC just relished that opportunity, man, to actually be able to sort of go out there and get his hands on some passes because teams just haven't been doing that in the past.
Yeah, it kind of felt like he took it personally. You know, like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, the famous line is, and I took that crap personally. You know, like I felt that was the kind of attitude he was playing with last week, and he played outside of his mind. Staying on the defense, Wes, for just a quick second, Ernest Jones is a guy that I've constantly kept my eyes on. Last season had 97 tackles, and now in 4 games is around 40 tackles again. He's always around the ball. In your opinion, is he the leader of this defense? And what makes him so good? And what should LSU fans watch out for from him in leading that defense?
Oh, there's no question he's the leader. He's, I think JC is sort of the alpha on the defense, but it's Ernest Jones who is sort of the voice of this defense. And he's the one, both from a standpoint of actually, literally calling the plays and relaying them to the other guys on the front. But just from a leadership standpoint, pushing his teammates, his freshman year, he didn't play a whole lot, but from his sophomore year and now this year, his junior year, he really sort of took over as the voice of that defense. And I think the thing about Ernest, like you said, man, you're spot on. What you saw just watching him, I guess against Auburn, that's sort of the last year and a half how it's been. He always finds a way to be around the football. He's not necessarily the fastest guy if you just timed him, but he's fast enough. He has great instincts, really good size, and is just sort of your prototypical SEC middle linebacker in that he does all the little things right, and he cleans up a lot of mistakes sometimes for his teammates. He's just around the football. And I would say Ernest is probably the most underrated guy on that defense. And it's kind of similar to JC before. People around here get to watch Ernest every single week and sort of get to experience it and appreciate how good of a middle linebacker he is, whereas he's not really that flashy guy that's going to pop up in all the all-SEC lists necessarily. But I think if LSU fans, I know they appreciate good defense, and I know they appreciate hard-nosed type players. Ernest is definitely that. This is one of those dudes you can really get behind.
Wes, they definitely want good linebackers and defense now because of the first 3 weeks, man. It's been horrendous. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central is our guest. Switching over to the other side of the ball, South Carolina is really going to pro style and really, really going to want to hit you in the mouth. Now, Kevin Harris feels like the bell cow that they're wanting to get the ball to and run the ball downhill. What have you seen from the beginning of the year until now that has made this so much more successful for this offense moving forward and specifically this running game? Why is he, number one, is he the vocal point of that offense and who they have to get the ball to outside of Shy and other guys like that? And number two, if LSU, which I don't know if they will, is able to stop the run, does South Carolina have the weapons on the outside to compete if they need to push the ball down the field?
Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question. That's been the single biggest concern for South Carolina on offense, has been the lack of passing game weapons other than Shy Smith. Now, Shy, for your LSU fans watching and listening, Shy, number 13, he's the most explosive player on South Carolina's offense. He's the guy in the passing game they're going to have to find ways to get the football to. He's probably their best overall playmaker on that side of the ball. Otherwise, they really have not had a guy step up at wide receiver. I know LSU has had their defensive struggles. It's going to sort of be a battle of which team can kind of have a weakness step up. I go back to the Florida game. South Carolina had some opportunities down the field to other wide receivers where they're able to get open. But then, and the ball is there, but too many drop passes have really plagued this offense. So I think with Kevin Harris, he's become sort of the focal point of this offense because that's the identity they've kind of had to go to. And it's not a flashy offense. It's not what fans in 2020, really envisioned for a great offense, to be quite honest. But I think Mike Bobo, the offense coordinator, has done a fantastic job of just saying, this is what we are. We're going to sort of build the offense around what we have. And what they have in Kevin Harris is a bowling ball, basically. He's low to the ground. He's just like a big old ball of muscle. And what you're going to see on Saturday, South Carolina will run the football early on. And first, from what I've seen so far, the blueprint is, first quarter, they really won't have a heck of a lot of success running the football a lot of times. And they sort of just keep pounding away. And as the game goes on, it's really an old school approach. As the game goes on, it sort of breaks open a little bit more as they wear a defense down. They'll mix Deshaun Fenwick in. That's number 14. He's a little bit more agile, maybe a little bit more elusive than Kevin Harris. So they'll mix him in when teams start to get worn down. And then, of course, what they've really had to do, y'all, is just throw the ball to the tight ends. They throw the ball to the running backs out of the backfield quite a bit. And they've kind of had to take that approach just because the other receivers have not, just showed that they can consistently get open and catch the football. It's like one week they'll struggle to get open. Another week they'll be open but struggle to, hold on to the ball. So it's just been one thing after another with some of those other receivers. So they've just sort of taken what they have and tried to make the most out of it, I
think. Wes, one question that we're getting in the comments, and just an overall general question that I think that mainly people outside of South Carolina want to know, is that, yes, Will Muschamp has done good over the last couple of weeks, and even the loss to Florida, they play really, really tough. Everyone has put Will Muschamp in this, hey, you better have a good season and you're on the hot seat, and you might get canned at the end of the season. What's the truth there? Is he really on the hot seat? And if he is, what does he need to do to get himself off of it?
Yeah, I personally don't think the seat is as hot if you look at the actual administration around here. I don't think the seat is as hot as maybe the perception is outside. And I think that is probably that idea is increased by everything with COVID, and all the financial losses that athletic departments are going to face this year right now. I don't see South Carolina being in a hurry to go make a change, have to, buy out a bunch of coaches, including Will Muschamp and all the assistants, and do all these different things in the middle of the pandemic. And I think you have a guy in Ray Tanner, the athletic director, obviously former baseball coach here at South Carolina. He is a believer in Will Muschamp, and he's done everything he can to sort of say it is a long-term approach at South Carolina. Build the program, build a foundation. And now don't get me wrong, the fan base, when you start 0-2, SEC fan base is not happy at all. So I think that's why it was key for this team and this program to have some things go their way and have something positive happen the last couple of weeks. I think as long as the bottom doesn't fall out here in Columbia as this year goes on, then Will Muschamp and South Carolina is going to be fine. And they have, depending on what rankings you look at, the number 2, number 1 quarterback in the country committed already for 2022. And they're really looking to sort of build that class around him and have another influx of talent here. So, as I said, man, Ray Tanner has sort of taken the more cool, calm, long-term approach, which, hey, let's be honest, fans don't always like that, but that's the sort of approach they're taking.
Wes, we got a question inside of Facebook Live from Devin Staub. Devin asks, #AskWes, Wes, who do you believe wins the Fall Classic? Who is going to win the World Series as Game 1 kicks off tonight?
Oh, man. Did this guy do his research? Does he know that I'm a huge Braves fan?
What happened is that
he's stabbing me in the heart with this question.
Well, what happens is that we have really good producers, okay, and we have a calling card, and it says on the phone Wes Mitchell, and we have a picture of you up there with all your info. And yes, it is a picture of you wearing the Atlanta Braves shirt. So I think he just kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, see. Funny thing is that's actually Travis d'Arnaud in that picture, but I look so much like Travis d'Arnaud people have been calling me Travis Darno all
Oh,
playoffs. So
yes,
so
indeed.
I switched out the pictures and put Darno in there. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers. I'll answer his daggum question. I think the Dodgers are the best team, but I really hope the Rays win, to be honest with you.
Well, that makes his next comment very, very much understandable. He says Wes Armood. So, okay. All right. Well, we're going to have to get on him on there. But, Wes, regardless, you've been absolutely amazing, man. We have one more for you. It says, #Ask Wes. How does SC leave Death Valley with a W? And we'll get you out of here. But what does South Carolina need to do to get a W this Saturday in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I'll throw some cliches at you, some football cliches, but this has been the blueprint for South Carolina. It's been stick to the running game, like I said, even if it's not working early on, just sort of possess the football. Don't turn the ball over. Against Auburn, the 3 turnovers that South Carolina's defense forced, all 3 of those turnovers turned into 21 points. So 3 turnovers, 3 touchdowns. And South Carolina, for whatever reason, has been really good in the red zone on both sides of the ball. They're scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. And then on the other side, they're forcing field goals instead of touchdowns. So I really think this is another probably pretty close football game, probably a fourth quarter game. I would give LSU the edge, to be completely honest. But I think if South Carolina goes in there, they've got a quarterback that's not flashy, but he does not put the ball in danger at all. So I think if they do that, protect the football, can maybe take advantage of some of the issues LSU has had on defense, and then score touchdowns instead of field goals, then you never know. I mean, I think the last time they beat LSU was 94, and before that, it was the 1930s, the last time South Carolina beat LSU. But the funny thing is, last week, it was the first time that South Carolina had beaten Auburn since the 1930s. So the year 2020, I mean, would it even be that surprising anymore? It wouldn't be for me.
No, it wouldn't. Wes, we greatly appreciate you joining, man. Tell everybody where they can find you and all of your great work.
Yeah, if they want to read up on the Gamecocks, or if maybe you got a South Carolina fan watching, just go to GamecockCentral.com. Follow us on Twitter at Gamecock Central, and follow me on Twitter at Wes Mitchell GC. And I guess I got to change out that Twitter profile picture here soon, huh?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a little bit on us. We should have done our research, Wes, in doing that. But, it's on us. It's on us. But, hey, it made for the great thing. We got a comment right here from Brandy Blake says, "Oh, my God, Wes, catfished y'all. Ha, 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 Blake, you got catfished." So, I mean, hey, in and of itself, it's going to take its own life. So, you know what we might do, Wes, is if when we have you on in the future, what we might do is just keep the picture there, and then that way we'll just keep it going.
Yeah, that sounds perfect, man.
All right, my man. Well, I appreciate it, and you have a good night, sir.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. See ya.
That is Mr. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Guys, we are having, and bear with us, we're having a little bit of camera issues here. We are trying to connect. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but before we get to that, we'll get on to the next segment. But before we do that, I should say, get over to my good friend, Mr. John Patton. Guys, he's gonna either love me or kill me, but I'm on the phone with the man all the time, literally trying to do everything I can to get this man business, and he takes care of all of his clients. He's just so great at what he does. If you're thinking about buying a new home or doing a cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Call Mr. John Patton in Area and Home Lending today, 225-663-2500. That's 225-663-2500. And tell him Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Okay, guys, bear with us as we are going through a little bit of technical difficulties with the camera, but we will bring your comments up on screen as the show continues. Let's see. Mr. Alex King says, "This guy, Wes, sounds fair and intelligent. I like him." Yeah, fantastic guess. And I told you guys yesterday that at former LSU quarterback, Josh Booty was going to be coming on the show today. I actually did not lie. He will be on the show with us tomorrow. Along with Mike Detillier. Joseph says, did he say SC has the edge? Apparently Vegas thinks differently. No, Joseph, he said that he believes that LSU has the edge. So, no, he said LSU does. Ryan says, Blaine Smith, go Hogs. Uh-oh. Natty's ball, says Stephen Miller. Ask Ryan Mayer how to stop the Aggies. I'll wait. I hear you. The man, John Patton. Yeah, you guys got to go call him, man. You got to go call him. I don't know what's going on with this stupid camera, y'all. I have absolutely no idea. We might just have to rock the show like this until I can figure this camera thing out. Because I know one thing. It's absolutely driving me bananas. Bananas. Bananas, y'all. Okay. Well, it says it's going through another application. I don't know what application it's going through, though. I don't know. Okay, the absolute best in the Southeast. Yeah, I agree with that. Blaine Smith, ask Blaine how LSU will score from the 1 yard line and stop a freshman quarterback from Mizzou making his second start. Eesh. Ryan, I just think you come up in here just trying to start trouble, dog. Like, just trying to start trouble. You just like attempting to start the trouble. Let's see. Ty asked, why isn't Cardell getting any looks? Was he overhyped? Seems that way. Well, he's been nicked up. He has been nicked up. And so with that being said, I think, I just think that he's going to be out for a little while until he's able to figure out what it is that, and how do I say this? Basically, he just needs to make sure that he is not injury prone, Ty. He's just been very, very injury prone. Joseph said Ryan Mayer is big trolling, overrated the Gators. Okay. Let's see. Ryan steady trolling. Yeah, y'all be hating. This dude be big trolling. Have you heard anything today about LSU defense personnel changes? A little bit. I think that they're going to be rolling in some more linebackers and some new safeties is what I hear. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. It will be surprising to me, very surprising to me, who they roll out first, though. Let's see. Brandy Blake says Ryan Mayer is the stirrer of all pots. Okay. They started with me first, Blake. This is an epic troll. We could just sit here all night. Joseph White going to get playing time, says Ty. Yeah, he's definitely going to get playing time. If you listen to what O said today, he was really high on him, saying that they're going to rotate him in and out. Well, they better. Okay, they better because, really the linebacking position for LSU has been their biggest bugaboo, y'all. Oh, my God, Blake just said bugaboo. Yeah, I said bugaboo. What you got to say about that? Get off my ace. Okay, get off my ace. I said bugaboo. What you going to do about it? Blaine Smith says, how high is the water or under the bridge of Urban Meyer? Urban Liar, I guess you should say. All right, guys, we're going to cut it a little bit short tonight. We did have a segment. Former LSU quarterback Josh Booty is going to be on the show tomorrow along with Mike Detillier. We're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties, but we've been in, and Wes was a really good host. But be sure to join us tomorrow as former LSU football quarterback Josh Booty joins him along with Mike Detillier. Guys, let's get to this last comment. Dylan Landry says, think we should see more from Josh Williams. I fully believe it. Fully believe it. But until again, guys, we will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.